I don't have a psychology degree, but I do have enough research in my back pocket to know that when clutter is lingering, it causes overwhelm. It distracts your peace of mind, whether it's clutter in your space or clutter in your mind or even clutter digitally. So I want you to watch this video with really reducing overwhelm as the key kind of theme in this video, removing the clutter and reducing your overwhelm. I also want you to watch until the very end because I'm going to be giving you a key resource that I use every single day in my business and my personal life that helps me reduce paper clutter. I'm so glad you landed on this channel. For the best organizing and decluttering advice, please hit the bell below to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. It's my belief that clutter is an underlying theme for some mindset. For example, if you're always think you don't have enough money, perhaps you're keeping everything, even though it's clutter. Or if you have low self-esteem maybe, or are self-conscious about things, perhaps you're spending a lot of money on clothes and other things and keeping them all to help your self-esteem. Whatever the underlying theme is, I want you to get a bit real with the clutter that you have in your space, in your mind, and digitally. I also want you to go back to a time when you were surrounded by clutter. It might be easiest to do this with a space, perhaps in an office, your room, or just imagine how you felt when all that clutter was around you. It's quite easy. We often think about closets in this case or desks that are filled with paper, but really just for a minute, even pause this video and think about how that made you feel. And likely it was draining your energy. And I really want to help you with that. So that's why I want you to watch this video and get my top tips right now. Jane Stoller, I'm a life biz organizer, and for the past decade, I've been helping businesses and entrepreneurs and corporations get their processes organized. I call myself a life biz organizer because I believe your home and your business should all be decluttered. Now I have a signature 6-step process where I teach entrepreneurs how to organize their business processes like a boss. Now, my first tip is going to appeal to people that either live with someone or have a team, but really talk to your partner if you live with somebody, your kids, your husband, your sister, whoever you might live with, your pets, and also your teammates if you're in an office environment. But I want you to first talk about how the clutter surrounding you makes you feel and your kind of determination to get rid of that. And even it could be in your mind if your boss is always very scatterbrained and has throwing a million tasks at you. Perhaps I want you to sit down and talk about how this makes you feel. I know this sounds woo-woo, but you have to have your partners, your bosses, your teammates, people who you're surrounded by have to know how this clutter is affecting your work life. Number 2 is very self-explanatory, and every cluttering expert in the world says this, or decluttering expert, I should say, is get rid of what you don't need on a daily basis. Now, we live in a very consumerist society in North America, and ever since after World War II, when our houses started getting bigger, we were moving to the suburbs, and we had to keep up with the so-called Joneses. I hate using that last name, and I'm sorry if your last name is Jones, but we've really had to fill our homes with stuff, and now it's become a real issue. So every day in your home and office, I really want you to reduce what you don't use every day. If you need, put a sticky note on your computer to remind you, put a calendar invite for every day saying get rid of clutter. Maybe you want to do a clutter challenge for getting rid of something every day, and then you'll have 365 things after a year. Something to remind you to get rid of stuff you don't need every single day. I am so curious to know what your biggest clutter stress is, or where it is, I should say. Is it your closet? Is it your workstation? Is it your inbox or your social media? What is keeping you stressed when you think about clutter? Please comment below because I'd love to comment back with some helpful suggestions. And my last tip is really about that reducing overwhelm, and it has to do with your mental focus. I talked a lot in videos about mental clarity and getting focused, and you can really relate to my tips in the last video from last week. You can link here, and I'll also link it below, about getting a bit more focused. And one of my tips was being able to not spend your mental energy thinking about clutter. So my last tip was doing it every single day, making it a habit. I want you to do this on kind of in a mindset shift. So really, when you walk into a space, when you walk into a room, how can you make it a bit more efficient and a bit less decluttered? So again, you can have a challenge. I always say keep some donate boxes in your home. You can either buy them from my website, Organize Jane, or even a cardboard box labeled donate. Get rid of stuff wherever you go. And even make suggestions to your friends and let them know as well that you're on this clutter journey. So perhaps you can even set up, a donation in your neighborhood, or pick up something to get that clutter out of your home automatically, to reduce even thinking about it. The less you think about clutter, the less overwhelmed you'll be. As a thank you for watching, I really want to give you one of my key tools for reducing paper clutter. I'm a big believer in going digital, and for me that starts with receipts. Every single day, or usually from grocery shopping to receipts on Amazon, even digital, we are getting receipts. And I think it's really important that we hang on to the ones we need for tax purposes and returns, whatever it may be. But really, I want you to download my free guide below, which gives you my 4 tips on how to get your receipts digitized and reduce the overwhelm with paper. There's some apps involved, it's super simple, and I guarantee once you get this into your life, you'll feel a lot better about reducing your paper clutter. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up, share with your friends, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next Tuesday.